Hello, glad you're with me. This is another good question for Beth. It says, how was the devil able to lead Jesus to the mountaintop? That's a deep question. And I think I have what she's asking. If I don't, Beth, please report in the comments, or tell me why. No, that's not it. And specifically, help me to understand what you're asking. How was the devil able to lead Jesus to the? Now, I don't think she's asking, was he taking him by the hand, or maybe that's part of a question we could answer, which I don't have the exact answer. I do believe it was invisible. I don't think Satan usually, he can appear like angels do. He's an angel. He can manifest himself at times. And so he can come as an angel of light, Paul said in 2 Corinthians chapter 11. So it says, how was the devil able to? I think the question is, how in the world did God allow Satan to lead the Son of God? Well, I think he's really the prototype. He's the first. He's not the first that was ever led by Satan. Adam was, but he's allowing us. He came as 100% human. He's 100% God, 100% human. We won't get into. You can ask a question about that if you want to in the comments. But he came as man and humanity to show how to defeat him. So God definitely allowed him. As a matter of fact, the Spirit drove him into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And so he allowed him as he allows us. So how did he allow him to lead him? He allowed him to do it. And maybe she's asking particularly to the mountain, how did he do it? I don't know. Maybe he just sensed that I'm supposed to go up there. And the devil was leading on, and the Spirit of God who was in and upon Jesus, he just filled him, by the way, remember at baptism, was allowing all this to happen so that he could give a demonstration on how we can have victory. That's not the question, but how was he able to do that? I think that answers it. If it doesn't, shoot it again at me, or maybe someone else can. How was he able to be led? God definitely allowed it, and to the mountain, and we don't know exactly which mountain. The Bible is not clear. It's not that important. It could have been the mountain in Jerusalem. Just a real quick picture of what the mountain. It could have been one of the four. There's four major ones. I think there's five total. Let's see. Here's the Sea of Galilee. This is a River Jordan. And this is a quick, not a really good picture of the Dead Sea. And he was taken. Here's Jerusalem. I believe this temptation, by the way, if you compare Matthew and Luke, was this third one. It's the last one. It's most tantalizing. It's the most tempting because, after all, he was there to bring the kingdoms of this world back to to God. It says in Revelation and all. And the kingdoms were delivered unto Satan in a sense, to some degree. God is ultimately in control. And that says it in that Luke 4 passage. Satan said, these have been delivered unto me. It was handed over by Adam, who was supposed to manage and have dominion over the earth. And Satan took a lot of that away because of the submission to Satan. But anyway, long story short, there's mountains here. I don't know if you can see that around Jerusalem. And it could have been that Satan took him on this mountain, which is Nebo, which is where Moses was buried by God himself, which is cool. No one knows where it is. That's what it says in the Bible. But maybe he was brought up there. In Deuteronomy chapter 34, verses 1 through 4, I think that's correct. It says that Moses saw all the places that God said, I'm going to give it to you. Sounds like Satan, I'm going to show you the kings of the world, and I'm going to show you all that I'm going to give to you. Pretty interesting. So he could have brought him up to a physical mountain, or it could have been possibly, I mean, I doubt it, but it really could have been. Oh, by the way, I forgot. What I was going to say is he just had the temptation of the pinnacle of the temple. Now, by the way, in Luke and Matthew, they reverse the order that Luke said this one. That he wasn't interested, I don't think, in this at this point, the details. Just like you're telling a story, you put one part of the story or the other. But in Matthew, it says, then he took him to the pinnacle of the temple. And then the third one, it says, again, he led him up to a high place. By the way, it's interesting. Little by little, Satan was trying to lead up higher and higher, where God's Spirit led him into a humble, low place, even to the death of the cross. The point being, he went to the baptism down, to the wilderness, And Satan started in the wilderness and brought him to the high temple pinnacle, but way higher than that is a majestic mountain, the higher, one of the higher mountains. And so I don't know if that's true and significant, but it's an interesting thought. Let's see, what was I going to say here? That this is like, wow, big time temptation. Oh, it could have been not physically. It could have been more of a visionary image. Satan gives dreams and visions, and it could have been just a panoramic time of a vision of the pomp and the glory and the beauty, and also including, all the villages and the cities and this nearby kingdoms. And that time in first century, there was the Judea and the Samaria, Galilee, and there was the different sons of Herod the Great, Antipas, Philip, and all. That was over those they were client kings over those areas of kings and kingdoms. And of course, he said other world, which could have been not. I don't think it's just that. He said, I'll give you everything, all of Rome, the whole empire of Rome, plus outside of all the kingdoms of the world. All right, I don't know if that's answering the question or not, but he allowed him to do that, just like he allows us to go through temptation so that we can be conformed to the image of Christ. Christ defeated him, we can too. All right, I hope that answers it. God bless you.